Hey everybody, we're here. Another Regulator talk. This time with my good old buddy Flash, but we do have an active live studio audience in the Discord with Cap and Razor. How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing all right.
See,
Me too.
I could never do like one of those sit down where it's just two people in a chair and then like 80 people around them, because I'm the type of guy who I'd be standing up and I'd be pointing to the audience and I'd be like getting them engaged. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing when you're trying to focus on two people, because Flash and I are the only ones with VR. I don't know, Cap, have you ever used a VR before?
No, I never use it. So,
Razor review?
well,
No,
I
I
have
have
used
not.
it, but I know I don't have it. So that's
I
it.
would like to. I currently have the mobile version. I don't have the computer version.
You get the little cardboard like one?
No, it's not cardboard. It's basically like a giant freaking
I can't
box.
remember what it's called. I think it was like
It, it's
it's Google
it's
Cardboard, right, or something.
yeah. There's
Some
Google
gimmick.
Cardboard, and then
That's the.
there's the gear.
It's the.
Gear
I've got the
VR.
gear, but I
Yeah,
got it for cheap because it was on sale, like for $10, which was like holy crap.
yeah. I spent more money on the Minecraft like Steve cardboard head at FYE. It was like
Oh
twenty
my
five
god.
dollars. This was like
I could have
8 years
made
ago.
you
I
one.
I made one of those
You
actually.
may
Yeah, I cut it like so. Me and my stepdad, we just
yeah.
made a bunch of squares on a cardboard box,
Yeah,
and
just
then we
create a
painted
bunch
it.
of squares.
It looked pretty good, and then we just like put a little head mount inside so that it was like perfectly fit to my head, and then could just set it on, and I could look perfectly through the eyes.
People,
I put a bicycle helmet in mine.
That works.
people ask me what's my worst purchase. It's probably got to be that one, the Minecraft Steve head for like $25, and it's just cardboard. So as soon as we moved, yeah, that thing just got destroyed.
Well,
I
Got
mean, I
flattened.
don't
You know, it was a moving box essentially at that
don't mean
point.
to brag, but I would definitely say that my worst purchase is Deep Space Waifu.
Worst? Oh, dang.
Patches has this game since when?
Is that in VR? Oh, of course, Patches has that game. Is it in VR?
No, it's like a Galaga type game,
Yeah.
but you shoot clothes
Yeah,
off of
yeah.
anime women.
We've talked about this before.
It
I
was
think
nice.
I think we talked about this on the last podcast with you and Oz actually.
Oh, we might have.
I don't know actually. I can't remember. I think we did, but so you got the Oculus Rift, which is what I have also. For the most part, I think everyone that I've talked to in this Discord has Oculus Rift. Very few people have the HTC Vive. A good people do have the PSVR, which I will say this: you know, it's bad when VR is more friendly to, I guess probably shouldn't say VR, but like most VR games are more friendly with interconnecting people who don't have a VR and do have a VR and different types of VRs. For instance, one of my favorite games, like Rec Room and like VR chat, stuff like that. Rec Room, you can play with PlayStation users, if you didn't know. So most of the people you
Really?
meet are actually people with
Seriously?
PS play. Yeah. So people who have a PSVR can actually play with those on PC. And VR chat, you guys already know this. You don't even need to have a VR to play it. I actually prefer Rec Room in a sense that you have to have a VR for it. But now they're starting to change that policy with Rec Room, which I don't like because it gives you a really big unfair advantage in the mini games in Rec Room, whereas VR chat doesn't really have that. But it's like it brings population to the server and it just floods it. And I will tell you, the worst thing is stuttering in VR because you just don't know when it's gonna end, and it hurts your eyes a lot.
Oh my god, it's the worst.
Elevation's pretty bad too because it trips you up. Like there's been a couple times when I had to like feel like a desk and be like, all right, I'm not floating in the air, just making sure. But,
Yeah, no, it's that is something that I have noticed. So I got it a couple days ago, and I've done nothing but VR, and it's gotten to the point where I can barely sleep at night because I've lost track of time.
Mhm.
And like last night, I went to bed at actually a decent time, woke up 3 hours later, couldn't go back to sleep, so I just was like, all right, I'm gonna play some more Beat Saber, I guess.
How is that anyway?
Oh, it's
Oh,
great.
God.
I've heard
It
of
is
it and all
a
that.
VR
that-
seller. Like if I had to
Yeah.
rank like the top games to get VR for, Beat Saber would be number one because everyone loves music. You know, everyone has a favorite
Everybody
song.
loves music.
Like everybody has a favorite
And
song.
yeah, and they're all on Beat Saber. I guarantee
a
it.
good bit of them.
You actually have two lightsabers on your hand.
Yeah,
Oh.
Eric, you could be a Jedi, and I've seen people mod it where you could have one lightsaber, you have two, you could have the Darth Maul pike and all that. So it's really cool, and
That's actually a dual lightsaber or something like that.
yeah,
I believe
Yeah.
they just taped the two together.
No,
there's actually like a
there's-
little device for it, like you
There's a
can buy.
custom mount that you can. I think they have one for the Rift, and I know that they have one for the Vive because that's the one that the guy that started it uses. You just they just kind of like clip in, and then you just can swing it around. It's really cool.
For
Wow.
other VR sellers, I would say Arizona Sunshine was a pretty big one. If you wanted a like zombie VR game, I know that's a niche that people really liked. And if you're a big Bethesda fan, definitely you can't go wrong with Skyrim or Fallout on VR. Other than that, though, I say there's not too many big like
How
run
do you
out and
play
get a
that?
VR right now.
How do you play VR of Fallout?
The
It's
same way that you play VR Skyrim.
yeah,
I don't know.
It's kind of just it just works.
Keep in mind, I'm a guy who doesn't have VR, so
So
how does it work?
the Fallout VR doesn't work as well as Skyrim VR. In some aspects it does. So like when you look at your Pip-Boy, it doesn't stop time anymore. It's kind of like if you've played Fallout 76, there's no stopping time with the Pip-Boy anymore. So they kind of took that from, the VR where it's kind of hard to work, and of course multiplayer it's not going to work at all. So there's that. The gunplay. I mean, I don't own it because it's really expensive. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, Beat Saber is your best bang for your buck. I think it's $20, and you could probably get it cheaper, without a doubt. Like that.
Oh, no.
You pay what $300-$400 for a nice VR, and then you get Beat Saber for like little to nothing. And besides, I told Flash this. Most of the VR games that are really good are also free. There's a couple ones that are really good that cost a lot of money, like Super Hot and Fallout, and if you like Rick and Morty, stuff like that. But
like Rec Room, VR Chat.
And what I forgot to talk about was there's games that have integrated VR for free. This is I'm gonna shoot a little bit on. I like Bethesda a lot because if I didn't, I wouldn't be playing Fallout 76 to death. But I will say the one thing
How's
Bethesda did
that?
that I hated, it's decent.
Good.
It's fun with friends. That's what everyone says, but I truly believe that's why I'm having so much fun because like the story is nothing too crazy. But I do enjoy like an actual multiplayer Fallout game. But in terms of like Payday 2 and The Forest have integrated VR support for free. Skyrim has been around for a bajillion years, and Fallout 4 has been around for
7.
like 3 years. Those two games you have to pay an extra $60 or $40 or whatever for the VR version. So
Leave it to
that's
Bethesda to milk
yeah.
every penny that they can get from Skyrim and Fallout 4.
Yeah, so that, is not fun. Job Simulator is another great one to talk about. There's a lot of like situational games where once you're done with the objective, you're just done with it. Like Super Hot or Job Simulator, Arizona Sunshine. Beat Saber is one you can always go back to, which is a great. Payday 2 is so much fun because you can play with those not in VR also. The Forest is better because you can actually see what someone's doing. Payday 2 you can't, which sucks because I wanted to see like what Flash was doing. In The Forest you can. But it's always fun. Like when we were playing Rec Room, I was like dab Flash and we were doing like Fortnite dances, and Rec Room has a lot nicer community than VR chat.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like the first chat I joined was not very friendly in
Really?
Rec Room. Yeah, it was like everyone was super aggressive. It was really funny to listen to.
It's because Rec Room is VR chat, of course, is all only just PC, but Rec Room does have the PlayStation people built into it, so you get a lot of the like younger console audience, and so they're not as like trolly or memey in the sense of VR chat where you have the avatars. You don't have that in Rec Room. You can change your character how he looks, but you don't.
I could be
you can't,
Batman.
You can't be Batman in Rec Room. You can be
Darn.
Batman in VR chat, which is cool, and like there's custom actions and stuff like that. Like Flash, you were a Russian Slav dude or whatever they're called, and you had like an
You know the way, my brother.
AK-47,
I had an
vodka.
AK, I had a Makarov, I had vodka, I had everything under the sun, and I didn't know how to control any of it because
Yeah,
Vodka?
we tried
have
to do
Okay.
we tried to do DDR in VR, but we couldn't find
But
the
there
right
aren't-
server.
yeah, I don't know where that went.
I don't know, but how much did you pay for yours, by the way? Was it
Mine?
300 or 400?
So it's $400.
I don't
but
remember it being
through-
that much last year because I got mine last year.
you might have gotten it on sale. Yeah, you
So-
probably got it on sale. But
it's still cheaper than Vive. I'll say that.
I
So,
got it. So I got it the day after after Cyber Monday,
yeah,
which I know is bad timing. But
yeah, because the
I'm
price
still
probably went up.
I'm spending less. So basically, I'm financing it. Best Buy hooked me up and was like, "We got you. Pay $66 a month for 6
Guys are
months
epic.
with no interest." I'm like, "Heck yeah, dude!" And so now I got a VR headset.
Nice.
Yeah,
I could have done that with the Vive, but they didn't have any Vives, and they were like, "Yeah, the only the major difference between Oculus and Vive is the controllers, because the Vive controllers don't have any joysticks, and they don't have batteries. Like they do have batteries, but you can't like replace them. You have to actually charge it. So once your Vive controller goes out, they're dead, and you have to charge them back up. But Oculus, your controllers, mine are on my bed on the other side of the room. You're able to like pop them out and like replace them, so whenever they die, you can just go right back in.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, that's neat. I would have gone with the Vive, except I had to pay more money for the sensors because the Vive, for whatever reason, HTC Vive does not come with sensors.
Cool.
So you have to buy sensors, like extra,
well,
which is,
boy,
and they're like $40 or $50 a piece.
Oy.
I think the thing you got to mention too, though, is that for the Oculus Rift, it is a bundle also. Like you can get the HTC Vive in a bundle, but
Oh yeah, that's true.
you know you got to
But it's-
remember that the Oculus Rift for the price, you can get the third sensor, but both of them, like Vive and HTC, come with, HTC Vive and Oculus Rift both come with 2 sensors and 2 controllers in the headset. From personal experience, because I've tried both, definitely go with the Rift because best bang for your buck. Sure, the headset's not as nice. I prefer the controllers way more than the HTC Vive, but the
they're a lot more
sensors are
ergonomic.
better on the Vive. I mean, you're paying for better tech and you're going to get it, but if you have a large enough space and you have that third sensor, you really you'll get the most out of it. You know, the only thing you'll really be complaining for at that point is the headset, and everything supports Oculus Rift and Vive nowadays, and you could even get it for PSVR. The way the PSVR works is different. That's why it's also a lot cheaper than the Vive and the Oculus Rift, because it's sitting about the price of a console, like 200, 250, and it works off of light, I believe, and that's compared to the lasers for the sensors on the Rift and the Vive, I believe. So that's why more people kind of have problems with the PSVR, but it's still, from what I've heard, really good. In terms of supported games, you're going to get the most definitely on the PCs compared to the PlayStation. I can't name many PlayStation VR exclusive games that are wowing, especially because the only one was Skyrim and now it's on PC. So,
So
hey, we got Minecraft VR if you like that. That will actually trip you up. I won't lie there, because not only are you like a small block dude, but the elevation really throws you off. There's only a couple games that have thrown me off with elevation, and Minecraft was one of them.
Elevation.
Yeah, so when
So
you
if you're a
stand
really
on
tall dude, it's
no,
like
like when you're standing on top of a block and you look down, or if you're standing up in the air and you look down, that like throws you off a bit.
It isn't like it's to scale.
Yeah.
oh
Because most VR games, they will scale your model to like your height, so then it feels natural when you bend down to grab something, or when you just look around, and it just helps with not getting as much motion sickness.
Not with VR chat though, when every model's
Okay,
different.
but
So.
okay.
Minecraft?
But VR chat, they just scale like your speed
Yeah.
when you bend down and such, and it has the same effect. So
Speed?
okay, so in VR chat you can have like a really small character model, you can have a really big character model, and basically they make it to where it's still to scale, like to your body, so that when you bend down and you're like, let's say you're a really big avatar, you can bend down, and when you touch the floor, you'll actually touch the floor in VR chat, and they have it, set to where it's accurate, because they scale it to you while keeping the size of the avatar. But in games, in other games like in Rec Room, or what was that one game? Hold on, Payday 2. That's one that they don't scale. That was a little irritating. Pavlov does the same thing. I don't know about the Forest, but like I know for Pavlov they scale the player models to your size, and if you get the height incorrect, you can be a gremlin that's like really small, or you can be a giant. And I have seen some people in that game that did not scale their body correctly, and they were a giant. Oh my god, they were like 10 feet tall. It was the funniest thing ever. And they're just running around. You see them peek around a corner. It's super goofy.
Wow.
Payday 2, they just like increase your. I don't know, because I was only playing. I couldn't see what I looked like, but Bolt. I don't know if I was taller in game or not, but I was walking through like the top of the stairs, or not the stairs, but like doorways. And if you walk into any of those, your screen just goes black. Great. I'm like, this game was not optimized. I am not optimized for this game. It's too tall.
Interesting.
What would you say has been your I already know the answer. You're gonna say Beat Saber. I was gonna ask you what's your best VR game, and you're probably gonna say Beat Saber. So
it's definitely Beat Saber. It's just super hype. And once I learned how to get custom songs on it, it got even better.
Oh yeah,
I can finally play all of my favorite songs, like Country Roads, and Every Time We Touch.
Country Roads.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
it is the modern day equivalent to Rock Band or Guitar Hero.
Okay. Yeah. Has anybody played? This is an old game. Probably. I don't know how old. Let's Dance Dance Revolution. Anybody ever played it?
Never.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh my god.
How have you never played DDR? I hope you're. Yeah, I was just saying. I hope you're not being serious. Like, wait a minute.
That's like asking a kid, "Hey, have you heard of Minecraft?
Have you played Fortnite?"
Yeah. God, I used to be a god at DDR. Going to the arcade, or like a arcade, and DDR being there. Oh man, me and my brother would tear it up. And then we stopped going to arcades, and then I forgot how to play DDR, and now I can't play DDR.
I still can play DDR, but I tend not to because my PlayStation, yeah, it's pretty old. But every time every time I'd go over to my brother's place, and he'd be all like, "Okay, let's dance," and it's like, "Okay, how would we do this? We dance to DDR," and it's like, "DDR? What's that?" And it's like, Dance Dance Revolution, man. And it was like there were 3 discs, and I had the choice of 1, 2, or 3, and he'd put in 1, and then it would like basically pick which song it would by basically picking a number out of a hat, basically. And we danced to that song, and the one who loses had to clean up our room. And it was like, wow.
Nice.
But guess who got to never clean up their room?
Your brother?
No, me.
Yeah.
I'm really good. Apparently.
You're like, I'm really good at DDR.
We never did any we never did to the extreme. We did either normal or hard, never easy. If we did easy, then you're just being lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still play it sometimes. It's just hard because the pad is so freaking huge. So they kind of just kept it in there, and I believe it's it's a home for about 7 spiders.
Yeah, do you remember how big those DDR like dance pads were? Like those things are huge.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember when my grandparents, they were like the really cool, always wanted to be like with the
Hip.
next tech grandparents.
Yeah.
They had a Wii back when it was, new.
Holy
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, and they had a DDR like game,
Oh no.
and they had the pad for it.
Oh.
And I remember going to step on one of the buttons, but I stepped on it too hard and I broke the pad.
No.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're like, don't worry about it.
Don't
Oh my
worry
god,
about
that
it.
was freaking. Don't worry about it. It's all fine.
So I have a fun story
By the
to
way,
tell
you want to send more men?
I have a fun little story to tell you, by the way. Speaking of like Dance Dance and Rock Band and Beat Saber and all that ties in. When I was a kid, my big Christmas gift when I was, I think probably 11 or 12 years old, might be a little bit younger, was Rock Band 3, I think, or 2, I don't know. And the big deal about it was I got the drum set. And you guys remember how expensive that Rock Band drum set was? Like, the guitar wasn't that bad. The mic was, like, nothing. It was that drum set that was, like, the most expensive.
It was like,
But, like
$120.
Yeah. And so, that's why, like, I really miss Rock Band. Honestly, if I had to pick one game, like, Guitar Hero was pretty good, but Rock Band, I think, was just the jack of all trades. It was Guitar Hero, but you could sing and play the drums. And I think there was some other instrument, maybe. Or there was bass and there's guitar. That's what it was. Because they had a separate, like, bass and they had, like, a whammy bar. You guys remember that? The whammy bar?
Yeah.
Man, that makes me feel old a little bit talking about. There's a lot of people who will be like, what's the whammy bar? Like, but yeah, it's crazy because Beat Saber's the modern day, like, Rock Band and Guitar Hero, just without all the instruments, your body. They tried this once with the Kinect. You guys might not remember this because it was Kinect. People say the Kinect was a failure. I liked it. They did like Disney Fantasia or something like that. It kind of.
They did something like the Star Wars thing too.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, okay. I have I'm Han Solo. The song. I have that from.
I'm
Kinect.
riding solo.
Oh my
I'm
god.
Han Solo.
No.
So yeah, I have that on Beat Saber. It's so good.
VR chat.
Yeah.
That song was there.
It's so
Oh my
good.
God.
Yeah. Dude, okay, Star Wars Kinect wasn't that bad. All right, now given
Many
the
people
price at
said
the
it
time,
was.
given the price at the time, yeah, and given that it wasn't like you gotta remember this was like the very first time people were really getting to try out like not virtual reality at all because it wasn't on your face or all that, but it was like motion controls, you know, and without a controller, I should say, because we had the Kinect and stuff like that. But I could like wave my hand and be the Force and Jedi and Dragon Ball Z and all that. And like, sure, it wasn't the greatest. I think if they still would have kept with the Kinect, you can quote me on this. All right, this is a bit of a bold statement. I think if Xbox would have kept the Kinect going through with the Xbox One S and Xbox One X and all those different variants, even though Xbox does not have a VR headset compared to PlayStation, I think the Kinect still could have done really good as an exclusive because Microsoft is really good at buying out, you know, company IPs and stuff like that. I mean, they got Star Wars and Dragon Ball Z, and it's two really big fandoms right there, given, like, they had other crap too, you know? But, yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. To go back to the Rock Band story, though, no, I remember when I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I was worried because this was a Kmart story. If you guys know what Kmart is, my grandparents.
I remember Kmart.
Like, they did layaway or something, for that Rock Band drum set or whatever, and I was always worried that was gonna be like the reason they lose their house. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when I was a kid, I was actually worried that because of how expensive that was, that they were gonna lose their house. I'm not even joking. You know, it's just a fun story that not many people know. But they did not lose their house, by the way. They're still the same, also in West Virginia. So, but yeah, I don't know about you guys, but technology's come for very far away. At least in my time, I can speak highly of the early version of the Kinect on the 360 and then on the Xbox One because it came with it when you first bought it. You know, the PlayStation didn't have the thing with it.
It's a great idea
the...
to make the Kinect $100 and just increase the price from $400 to $500 for a console.
Yeah,
all because of the Kinect. That was smart businessing.
And then they sold it without the Kinect, and then they said they were no longer making Kinects. So if you have an Xbox One with a Kinect, it's kind of cool because you can be like, Xbox on! And it might work, you know? But
it might work.
Yeah, it might work. I remember going on Skype calls with a buddy of mine, Amari, and I'd be like, Xbox off or Xbox sign off, just to really mess with him, because he didn't have headphones, so he could always hear, and Xbox would go boo-da-doo, you know. But I think the 360 Kinect was where it was at because you got more, like.
Okay. I've got a question. Have you ever played like a prank on your brother? Where you have a controller in your room that would be connected to the Xbox, and your brother would be playing, and they'd get really intense in the game, and then all of a sudden you just mess around with the buttons and screw around with them and turn off the Xbox?
My little brother really loves Fortnite. He doesn't live with me, but I will say that Flash can probably tell you some stories of when Bolton, that's my brother's name, by the way, when he gets really mad on Fortnite and starts screaming or yelling or gets mad at me because I'm not even trying and I'm just still somehow killing
alive.
Yeah, still killing it in Fortnite. Even though it's probably one of the games I don't like to play, but I only play it for him. I just don't like Battle Royale games, really. But
yeah,
me neither.
I really mess with him a lot. I prefer Fortnite because it's free. I was gifted PUBG by Hague, and I will say this. This is probably an unpopular opinion. I prefer the H1Z1.
I do not like Fortnite. I mean, don't hate on me. Don't hate on me, anybody. But
Fortnite.
Oh shush. Oh shush. I mean, I don't like it because it doesn't feel real. It's like
it's cartoony. Yeah.
I drink chug jugs every day and build houses to block bullets, and they only consist of one wall and stairs.
Is there a reason why you're really up close to the mic? Just to blurt?
Because I love Fortnite.
Fortnite.
I guess I guess what I could really say, which would be really unpopular, is why don't you go marry it?
I don't know if you guys own Black Ops 4, but I've actually
I hate that game.
I've
Okay,
actually wanted to try their battle royale mode.
It's really good. Think of a faster paced PUBG with just better mechanics, and it's at a stable 60 FPS if you're
No. I will never play a battle royale on Call of Duty. Never.
I mean, my friend invited me over to play it. It wasn't all too bad.
It was actually really good.
But somebody who mainly likes to play zombies, that game was actually really cool.
Well, for me, it's not even funny anymore playing Call of Duty when
there's so
Call
many
of Duty
people.
is different. Like they had a battle royale to Call of Duty. They also don't have anymore. But before they had like skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even funny anymore for me to play Call of Duty.
Black Ops 4 doesn't have exoskeletons.
No, yeah, I know.
It's
the double jump and all that.
Okay. I get why no one likes Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I don't like Call of Duty. I cannot stand anything past Infinity War.
No, wait a minute.
Black Ops 4.
I love Call of Duty. I just don't like the last one.
Infinity War? Or Advanced?
No, but Black Ops 4.
Why?
I don't know. Like they had a battle royale. I don't like battle royale.
You don't have to do battle royale.
Huh?
You don't have to do battle royale.
You don't have to. There is other modes too.
I know, but like I played World War II, so now going for World War II to future, I don't know, Call of Duty is not fun anymore.
I get it.
Well, I think they have to go slowly because one is World War II and the other one is like future.
But
they're made by two different companies.
Yeah, that's why Call of Duty
I know.
is expand. I think that's another thing that to go off on like a little Fallout 76 thing, is because of how many companies have their like
hands in the cookie jar.
I was gonna say hands in the cookie jar. So you're not gonna get the same Call of Duty from World of War or Modern Warfare. Like, sure, they kind of like resembled the same a little bit, switching around time periods and kind of intertwining. I think maybe there might be less communication there, and that's why everything there's like one big shift and then another big shift in terms of like how the game is played, because you can see it heavily from Call of Duty World War II to Black Ops 4. Now the Black Ops kind of remained the same up until this last one, I guess, when they were like,
they invited other players across the world and all that.
Yeah, I don't know.
As soon as they add a zombie mode to this thing, it's going to be exactly like Fortnite.
For what?
Call of Duty.
I don't know. Like I said, I want to try it out, but $60 is hefty. So,
boy.
I will say there's other things I'd rather play and try. I think the value of some games like Beat Saber, like $20, sure, you have to have the VR, which is already costly to run it, but it's so good. Like, I just can't get over. Sure,
now,
what
device is Beat Saber for? Is it for Xbox or is it for computer?
So
it's for
Xbox has no VR. Xbox, I think they were gonna do Project Morpheus or something. As far as I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, it's been years since that's been mentioned, honestly, or brought up. But I believe Beat Saber is coming to PlayStation, or it's already on there. I don't know. I haven't like picked up PlayStation honestly, aside from Spider-Man and Red Dead. But for Beat Saber right now, it's on PC. You can play it with Oculus, Vive. If you
Mixed reality.
if you mod it, you can use the PSVR. That's one thing that's really cool is that you can use the PSVR on the PC, but it's not gonna work 100%. Is that accurate?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, I'm thinking in the future to buy
Well,
Oculus Rift. So
is there
Yeah.
anything else?
Let's talk about spacing as we kind of wrap it up here though. Flash, because this would definitely be good for not like armor spacing, but for
Thank God I would have gone on a tangent.
you're like, whoo, you gotta throw a grenade down. No, I'm talking about like for the VR. So there's a couple different modes of playing. There's room spacing, like full room scale. There's like half room scale, which is like box scale, and then there's sitting, which is pretty much you don't use the hands, you only use the face, which I would say is for like Warframe. Or not Warframe, War Thunder, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Something that Oz had me play. I'm not a big fan of it. I like ground combat. I'm not really big on
It's
tank
the
combat.
the space one, right?
Huh?
It's the space one, right?
Warframe is the space one, but War Thunder is the tanks and the planes one.
Warframe's the RPG game.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Warframe's the RPG,
But
like
that's not
your
That's not the VR one I was talking about. I don't think it has
what are you
VR.
now talking about?
you're thinking of like Eververse, I think.
No, I was thinking of War Thunder because War Thunder has VR support in it.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I don't like the tank with the VR at all, and I don't kind of like tank combat at all, honestly, in that game. But I like the airplane a lot in VR. It's so much fun.
I don't know.
But
Until you crash.
yeah, right.
It's like, yay, I like this. Oh, crap, there's
It's like,
the gun.
sure, good shot. When you're sitting down, like that's a good example of it could still be a lot of fun looking around and using the keyboard and mouse. Standing for, let's say, Payday 2 is a good example because you're standing, but you're also like looking around corners. You know, you're not doing too much movement because there's a thing called Locomotion, and that's where you just flick the left stick and you start walking forward. You don't really walk like you do in real life. Whereas you could also teleport, which is a lot easier than Locomotion because some people do get locomotion sickness.
Oh my god, I hate locomotion.
For me, I had a horrible time with Locomotion in a lot of games. I feel like it got better. Unless it's just been a while since I've used it, but Locomotion, I feel like it's gotten a lot better from where it was in the beginning.
I don't feel like it's that bad, but then again, I just started using VR, and I don't get motion sickness very often. Like, I honestly don't even remember the last time I've been motion sick, like, or have gotten motion sickness.
Try going through a maze. Try going through a maze that is completely endless, and there is no success, and it's like, ah.
No, that just gives me stress. It doesn't give me like motion sickness. It gives me stress.
Yeah, well, for this this device that I use for VR, I haven't used in a while. There's a button on it where your character moves towards it, and then you have to click it again to have it stop.
Right.
Then you have to click it again to have it move. And if you mess up and double click it, it will continue. You will continue going straight or the way you're facing. And at the point, my mom was like, "Hunter, why are you turning around in circles?" "Mom, I'm in a maze." At that point, it was like, "Get that thing off your head. You're gonna get."
Yeah. That's another thing. When you're in the game, you lose complete like You don't know what way you're facing.
You don't even know. You don't know
s-
if you're down at the street yet. It's like, oh my god, I'm
No,
here.
I have I don't have my full setup yet. I'm still waiting on a few things. I want to get wall mounts so I can put my sensors on my wall.
I still want to get a wall mount. For the there's a cable that goes behind you, and sometimes when you're playing a game like Beat Saber, you just beat the ever living heck out of it because I just whack it and just knock it out. Like it's because of the way
still
that
don't have
I'm
that
facing.
issue.
It's the way I'm facing
haven't-
because I'm sideways.
Oh, you're sideways.
That's why, yeah. Like I said, you really have to look at how is your room positioned. How are you going to? That's one thing. So
You just need one room dedicated to VR setup.
essentially,
Yeah, but
like
it's really hard to do when you live with your parents.
when you live
Exactly.
with people in general, and
Exactly.
you know,
Like when I move out, I plan on getting a 3-bedroom house, one for me, one for my roommate, and one that's a like dedicated office / game room
Exactly.
where I can put my, we can have. I love having my own computer. I love having a bunch of stuff in my room, but like
What if they
at-
can?
it gets really like it becomes a lot, and it gets really hard to sleep at night with all of this in my room because my room gets really hot. Now, even if I turn my computer off, my room is still like just really hot, and it just gets really uncomfortable. And like the other night, I actually slept in my brother's room, my little brother's room, because he has an extra bed for whenever he has friends sleeping over, and I crashed. It was one of the best sleeps I've ever had, just because I don't have any technology around me. Like I had my phone, but that was so I could listen to music while I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But that was it.
I'm not the only one. Sweet.
I love having my own personal space, my room, which is literally everything in here I have paid for or am going to pay for. And it's just like it's nice, but like there's a lot in here. Like just with my bed being so large, I barely have any space for VR. So I have this little like
What if they created
spot.
collapsible VR? So like it's like you just press one button and then the sensors come out into the room and all that, and then it goes back.
Well, the sensors aren't even that big of a deal. Like they're not that. The sensors are really small, and if you get a wall mount, you don't ever have to touch them.
the Vive ones are smaller because they're little like cubes,
Boxes, and they're
whereas
wireless, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's
Don't you have to charge them?
That's the thing with I'm not sure with the that's another thing too. These controllers, they should be chargeable. Whoever was the evil genius that was like, we're gonna make them buy batteries, he's bringing market back to the battery business.
All right. All you have to do
Yeah.
is just go buy 4 rechargeable batteries and a recharging station, and then bam, you don't have to ever worry about it.
Yeah, I mean that is all you need.
But
I mean that's what I
I'm
do for my
spoiled
Xbox.
because of my, the Steam controller is chargeable, my PlayStation controller is chargeable. The Xbox one isn't. I mean, I think they made a version that is, but the default one wasn't. So like,
Yep.
but you use a lot of USBs too with this. Like, you have the HDMI and the USB just for the headset. You have
You
the
need
two
a lot.
USBs
You need
for
like a complete
sensors.
For each sensor.
Yeah, so it's like
USB
Okay,
thing
so-
I have a USB like death
I like
machine right going on here.
My computer is atrocious right now. I have every single USB slot being used up right
Oh, that is not good. That is
I have 4 in the front being used up and all 6 in the back being used up because I have my my drawing tablet hooked up to it. I have my mic hooked up to it. I have my USB fan hooked up to it. My speakers.
Hey, what's how is the drawing tablet good? And which one do you have?
I have a Wacom Intuos, just one of the basic ones. and I
Okay.
like it. It's good.
Does it work appropriately? You just have to connect it to your computer and all that, and that's all
Mhm.
it does?
Yeah.
Or is there software that you have to download?
So
And
you can download. Well, okay. So there is software that you have to download for it to work properly. It's just the drivers for it.
mm-hmm.
And then if you want, you can download the free art like program that they have, the free drawing program that they have that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an idiot and I actually downloaded it for Mac instead of Windows. So instead I got a free program called Fire Alpaca, and it
Doesn't work.
really, it does work. The Fire Alpaca works, but not the other one.
Not the drawing.
Yeah, not the one that comes with it. Fire Alpaca is a drawing software, but
Oh.
the one that comes with.
No, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Anywho, the reason is because I wanted. I'm an artist, but I only know how to do sketches. So I was, well, thinking of like, scanning my drawings and putting them onto my computer, and then drawing those so then they can actually be finished. Because currently they're just pencil scratches. And my mother was like, "Why don't you ask one of your friends?" And I was like, "Why don't I do it myself?"
Right.
And at that time, my mom was like, "Okay," and then left it at that. So I don't know. So I basically asked my step parents if they can get me like what is it? The drawing tablet and the a GoPro, so then I can do paintball videos.
Nice.
Yes, I do
That's
paintball.
cool.
Who does paintball here?
I don't.
You
It's a native
don't.
Ghost Rider. I live in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
I do airsoft.
It actually would probably be the best place to do it in the middle of nowhere, though.
What's airsoft? Is
Yeah,
that for feminines?
Huh?
For feminines. What?
Sorry,
What'd you say?
there's a shirt that says airsoft. What's that? Is that for feminists?
Oh,
What do you mean? Airsoft is like just like paintball, just not as painful. And
Unless you use the
I'm sorry.
gas-powered ones.
I'd rather get shot by 100 BBs before I get shot by one paintball. Those things are the size of like cannons.
Oh please! I've been shot in the neck, point blank range, and I'm still alive.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
I mean, half of I mean, half of my neck is gone, but other than that, yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to welt on my skin for like a year. I want,
It doesn't last for a year. It lasts
you know
for
what I
about
mean.
2
It
months.
lasts. Yeah, I don't want to welt for 2 months.
I played it off as if a girl sucked. Basically, we made out.
A hickey does not look like that. A welt is not a hickey.
I know, and so I just played it off.
Nothing like that.
I just played it off.
I like airsoft more because you can be a lot more tactical with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks more realistic. And paintball, honestly, it's just you shooting paint at people.
Exactly.
And it's messy, and I don't want to clean paint. Paint's hard to clean.
All you gotta do is spray it down with something or other and put it in a wash, then let it air dry, then put it into the dryer. Boom. It's done.
That's a lot of steps. Or I could just go wear clothes and then wash them like normal when I'm done with airsoft, which is 10 steps less and takes the normal time to wash clothes.
So I actually have to cut it here for our podcast listeners, everybody, because I have to go answer a very important phone call from my collage, because they're blowing me up right now, and I probably don't want to miss it because they close early today.
Yes, you probably want to
They
get
always
that.
close early on Fridays, which is not fun because then they go dead for the next 2 days. So I'm going to cut it here. Chris, you guys can still keep on talking. But it's been nice having you guys here for Regulator Talk, and until next time.